Welcome to Phase 2 Cardio Day 2. Today we'll be using the same movements as we used in Cardio 1. We'll start with a 45-second on, 15-second rest cardio. For the rest of the workout, we'll be using a 40-second on, 20-second bouncing movement in order to keep our heart rate up the entire time. Remember to focus on strict form, but also this is a cardio session, so you want to move quickly as possible. Let's move into the warm-up now with a run in place. Keep in mind when you're running, you want the toes to leave the ground, just like you're running in place. Don't bring the knees up too high, just to make sure that you're moving, getting the core and the legs warmed up. Now we're bouncing. We'll bounce for 15 seconds. The next we're going to move into is a toe touch, where you're going to kick your leg out straight. Let the toes touch the hand. You can either use the same leg or the opposite leg. We'd prefer the opposite leg, and that way you get a good stretch in the hamstrings. You're going to need that for today's workout. And we're going to move into a bounce. Our next workout, our next exercise is going to be a knee pull. Pretty simple movement. You're going to use both hands. You're going to pull your knee up like a high knee. Grab your knee and pull it back towards your chest. Let's go ahead and start that now. You're pulling that just to stretch the hamstring out, loosen up the legs. It's also going to help you get nice and warm. Keep pulling on the legs. As you progress through this exercise, you should get a little bit looser. Notice the knee coming back just a little bit closer to the chest. And we're going to start bouncing. The last movement of this warm-up exercise is going to be butt kicks. So you're just going to turn, use your feet, the back of your feet, and you're going to kick yourself in the butt. You want to keep your knees straight. Don't want to bring them forward at all. We're going to move like this for 45 seconds. We're going to bounce for 15 and we're going to rest. Just keep churning the legs, making sure you contact your butt each time you kick up. And we're going to bounce. And we're resting. You're going to get a full minute's rest here. What we recommend that you do is grab some water now. Make sure you're hydrating yourself. That's going to make sure you don't have any cramps. Along with doing some stretching, just some light stretching before you move into the exercise. It's going to prevent any cramps, any injuries, and it's just going to keep you nice and loose as we move into the exercise. first exercise today is going to be a twisting high knee. So you're going to perform the exercise just as you would a normal high knee. With your elbows, you're going to twist where your opposite elbow is going to touch your opposite knee. We'll start that here in just a few seconds. And let's move into that motion. Again, noticing that you're moving each elbow to the opposite knee and you're twisting. You should be squeezing your core as you do this movement. It's not exactly an easy movement, so you're going to want to take the rest when you need and then get right back on it. Now we're bouncing. And after our 20 seconds of bouncing is up, your next movement is going to be going into a burpee. And let's start the burpees now. Remember to get the legs all the way out, keep the back straight while you do the burpee. And when you come up, make sure you leave the ground. You do want to do these as fast as possible, but you don't want to sacrifice form. So if you don't get as many burpees done as you'd like, that's fine. Just make sure that you're going as quick as possible while keeping the best form. And we're bouncing. Our next movement that we're going to go into today is bicycle crunches, where you're going to lay on your back and you're going to go elbow to knee in opposite directions. Let's go ahead and get on our back and start those bicycle crunches. Whenever you need to, just take a quick second, lay all the way back on the floor with your feet on the floor, and then move right back into it. And that's it. We're going to get up and start bouncing. And our next exercise in this particular circuit is going to be jumping jacks for speed. So you're going to want to go as quick as possible. Let's start those now. This exercise, form is not quite as important. Perform the motion as best as possible. Make sure you're doing it for speed. And let's bounce it out. Let's rest. As usual, take this minute's rest, get a couple drinks of water, make sure you stretch out the best you can, and get ready for round 2. So our first exercise back in this circuit, we're going to go back to those twisting high knees. We're trying to touch our elbow to the opposite knee while running in a high knee position. It's going to be critical that you squeeze your core as you do this. Let's go ahead and get started. You may find that you need to take breaks frequently throughout this exercise. That's perfectly okay. Just make sure you're doing it with the proper form, keeping your back straight. Start back up as soon as possible. Make your breaks short in duration, and then get started again. And let's go into a bounce. Next up, we're going to have our burpees. So as you're bouncing, get mentally prepared to keep strict form. And let's move into our burpees. Again, make sure that you're leaving the ground every time you come up. You want to make sure to get a good bounce off the ground, leading with your toes. And also keep your back straight as you pop out. As you can see here, Joe is using his fingertips. Whatever's most comfortable for you to make you move with the movement as best as possible. If you want to go flat-handed, if you want to use your fists, however you need to, but just make sure you're comfortable as you're going through the burpee. And let's bounce. You're going to keep on bouncing here. Our next exercise in the cycle is going to be bicycle crunches. Let's go ahead and move into those. Remember here, you're trying to get your knee up to the opposite knee, touching your elbow. You want to move through as many of these as possible. Whenever you do need to take a break, put your head back on the ground, relieve your elbows, and then start back again. And rest. Let's get up and start bouncing. Then we're going to move into our jumping jacks for speed. Remember here, we're not focusing so much on your form, but we want to move as quick as possible through the exercise. Take short breaks when necessary, and then start back up on the jumping jacks. And let's move into a bounce. And into a rest. Take full advantage of your rest time. Make sure to keep drinking water. It's going to provide you fuel as you move through the workout. And do some mild stretches while you're moving through it. Our next set of exercises is going to be a 3-step motion for all of the exercises in this particular set. We're going to start with a 3-step side lunge. We'll be starting that here in a few seconds. Make sure to get a good bend in your front knee as you bend down, and keep the other leg directly behind your front knee. And let's get started. And bounce. Our next motion is going to be a 3-step to a suicide. We're going to bend down into a squat position. Try to touch your other ankle with your opposite hand. And we're going to start now. So 3 steps to the side, touch your opposite ankle, and keep that motion going. Remember to take breaks when needed. Let's go ahead and bounce. Next motion is going to be a 3-step push-up. You're going to get into a plank position. You don't have to go into a full push-up. You're just going to bounce back and forth between each one. A few more seconds of this, just keep bouncing. And we're going to go into our rest bounce. Our next movement is going to be a 3-step to a squat. So we're going to bounce 3 steps to the side, get into a squat position, and then move back and forth 3 steps each side. And we're going to move into our bounce. Next movement is going to be a 3-step into a jump. Don't have to bend down into a squat position here. You're just going to jump into the air. And let's go ahead and get that started. 3 steps and jump. Jump again. Keep that motion going. 3 steps, then jump. Keep pushing through. You're probably feeling fatigued at this point, but you just got to keep pushing through. Make sure you jump. When you jump, leave the ground. And let's move into a bounce. And let's rest. Take full advantage of your rest. Make sure you're getting something to drink. And when you get a moment, go ahead and stretch out very lightly. We're going to repeat the same exercise one more time, and then we'll move into our final. And let's move into our 3-step side lunge. Remember to get as good of a bend as you can in the front knee. Let's swing that back leg behind you. And let's bounce. Next up is going to be our 3-step suicide. Remember, you're going to reach across, keeping the back straight, bending the knees slightly, and reach over and touch the opposite toe. As you can see here, Joe's moving pretty quickly through these. You do want to do this so that you can keep the heart rate up. And let's bounce. Next up is going to be our 3-step push-up. Plank position. So you're going to prop down to a push-up position and pop back up. Make sure you keep your back straight when you pop out. Pop right back up and move directly into this 3 steps. If you feel fatigued, just stop, run in place for a moment, and then get right back into the workout. And bounce. Next up is going to be our 3-step squat. You want to make sure you get the knees and legs parallel. Make sure you keep your back straight while you're squatting. On these exercises, you want to get as deep as possible. Pretend like you're sitting in a chair. That's exactly how you should feel when you sit down. Keep pushing through. Just a few more seconds of this one. And bounce. Last exercise for this set is going to be the 3-step jump. Remember, you're not getting into a squat position here. You're simply jumping off the ground. But you do want to make sure your feet leave the ground. And let's go into that 3-step jump.
Если ты снишься мне ближе, значит по-прежнему врозь. Будь я хоть чуточку выше, тело измерив насквозь. Если ты снишься мне ближе, значит по-прежнему врозь. Снится мне.
And let's move into the bounce. Great job, great job. Keep pushing through. After this, we get a 1-minute rest. And rest it out.
Если ты снишься мне ближе, значит по-прежнему врозь. Будь я хоть чуточку выше, тело измерив насквозь. Если ты снишься мне ближе, значит по-прежнему врозь. Снится мне.
We're coming into our last set of the exercise today. The first of which is going to be ski jumps. So when we come up to that minute point, you're just going to jump from side to side. Make sure that you're swinging the angle of your jump, just like you're skiing down a hill somewhere. Make sure that you get all the way off the ground and use your arms to jump. Let's go ahead and start. Keep pushing yourself through. Take short breaks when you need to and run in place, but remember, get off the ground. And let's move into our bounce. Next up is going to be our in and outs. You're going to get into a push-up position, pull the knees forward, bounce back out into a push-up style plank position, and you're going to pull the knees back in and repeat the movement. Let's go ahead and move into that now. Remember to pace yourself on this exercise. It can be difficult. So as Joe is showing you here, you can use your fist, you can use your fingertips, or you can use your hands, whatever is going to be most comfortable for you. Do as many reps as possible in the time allotted. Keep pushing, just a few more seconds. And let's bounce. The final exercise of this set is going to be 6 inches. Where you're going to lay on your back, stick your hands under your butt, and you're going to keep your feet just 6 inches off of the ground. You want to make sure you squeeze your core while you're doing this. Let's go ahead and move into the motion. You should primarily feel the burn in your lower abs. So if you're not feeling a burn in your lower abs, try to squeeze and contract your core as best as possible so that you're getting the proper exercise. Keep holding it. If you have to take a short break, place your feet on the ground and get them right back up. And let's rest and go into our bouncing motion. And let's rest. Coming up on the last set of exercises for this workout today. Make sure you stay mentally focused on your form. Stay focused on getting through. You're so close to the end. You don't want to give up now. Make sure you push through. Get your mind wrapped all the way around it. You should be sweating. Should be feeling good. In just a few seconds, we're going to go ahead and get started with our ski jumps. Then we'll move into in and outs, and then 6 inches, and today's exercise will be complete. And let's move into ski jumps. Again, remember, you need to get off the ground when you do a ski jump. Don't worry about going as fast as Joe is right now. Just worry about getting off the ground, keeping your back straight, and getting a good hop when you come over. And bounce. Next up is going to be our in and outs. Let's start moving into that push-up position and go ahead and start our in and outs. Maybe getting really hard right now. It probably is. So you want to make sure you focus on keeping your back straight. Don't focus so much on as many reps as you can do. Just keep your form tight and you'll feel the exercise. And let's move up and bounce. Only got one more exercise left in this set. Let's go ahead and get on our backs and move into our 6 inches. Remember to keep your legs as low as possible. You want to keep your feet as close as possible to the ground without touching. Whenever you need a break, simply put your feet on the ground, take a few moments, pick them right back up. Don't let them rest too long. Keep holding. You've only got a few more seconds left. Squeeze that core and keep the legs up. Great job. Right now, go ahead and get up and let's start bouncing. Keep bouncing. Keep bouncing. And that is it. Congratulations. You have finished phase 2